Meeting to order. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Roll call, everyone. I think we might be missing one. There we go. Good job. We got a full house tonight.
All counselors present and a quorum has been declared.
Okay, thank you. Up next, we have the agenda approval. Okay, Council Vio.
Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, please start voting. Okay, Ms. Martinez.
The motion carried unanimously.
Okay. Up next, we have citizen comments. This is the segment of the agenda to where we ask anyone who has completed a comment card to come up to the podium and make your comments. We do ask that you keep your comments to within 3 minutes, in which we have a timer right there. If you're still talking at the 3-minute mark, I will politely ask you to end your comments at that time. We're going to start off with the audience members, and then we'll go to Zoom. I have up first is Megan Smith.
Hi, everyone. I was just here to introduce myself as the new Development Director for the Care and Share Food Bank. We are a large distribution center. We carry about 31 counties currently that we are assisting other food pantries with giving out food to our neighbors in need. I'm very passionate about this work. As you guys, some of you may have known, I've worked with La Puente for 3 years as their executive director for the enterprises departments. And now I just wanted to announce that I was switching roles and switching hats into a development director position. And I wanted to announce this because I know a lot of people get the food bank with La Puente confused with the food bank with Care and Share, but I wanted to just say that we more so partner with folks to get food out to the community. I just heard today that we delivered about 9 million pounds from the fiscal year beginning, which was in July. So that's a lot of work that we do around the Southern Colorado area. We are also looking to invite folks to take a tour, specifically in legislative, city council, chamber, all those things for Alamosa and local counties to come out October 18th to take a tour and see more about what we do and to meet our CEO, Nate Springer. So that was all of my comment. I just wanted to be short and sweet, but if you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact me and I can leave my cards up here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And that's at the facility west of town.
Yes, the old Budweiser building.
Okay, I got one more card. We have Ruthie Brown.
Good evening, I'm Ruthie Brown. I live at 711 State Avenue, not State Street. You know, I look on the webpage and I think, Charlie, you mentioned it sometime about transparency. And I think that's one of your major goals, but I would like to ask, first of all, that your work sessions are Zoomed. Because if a person can't break away and get here, and it's hard when you're working, when you're in the retail business, it's really, really hard. So I think that's only fair. I know on the 4-day work week planner thing that I planned on being here and had some bad news that day. And I know that Holly did a good job, but a 4-day week, I guess I'm happy for all the city employees that get to take that, but when I hear as a retail business that pays and collects the sales tax that the 4-day week will boost morale with city employees, I think, well, golly, when you sign on with the city of Alamosa, you get 32 days off. That's 6 weeks. That's a month and a half. I would ask that you go to any retail business, talk to any business owner and find out if they get to take that kind of time off. So morale should already be good. And then productivity is going to be increased with that 4-day work week. When I hear something like that, I think, were we not productive on the Monday through Friday that we had? In retail business, you do not get these luxuries. And then, and then today I'm hearing about this. I don't go looking for this stuff, but I'm hearing about this increase, this wage increase and the above the bar and all that type of stuff. And I'm thinking, wow, I know businesses downtown Alamosa that had the worst summer they've ever had, ever. And they don't get to increase their take-home pay. They get to go and apply for a job to support their business. So I wish for transparency. I would even ask that your retreats be transparent, that your schedule for what you're talking about at retreats be advertised. So should I decide to close my business and come and listen, I could do that and know it would be within a little bit, because right now what I'm sitting here and I couldn't hear half of what was said, and I might have agreed with it. Liz, I like you standing up for the seniors. That was the best thing I heard, but people should be able to hear. And here goes the box that drops you down. That's be the next thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to Zoom, see if we have anyone on Zoom who would like to make any comments. Ms. Martinez, if you don't mind, if you can give them instructions on Zoom, how to raise their hand so they can be recognized.
Yes, sir. If you're on the Zoom app and you'd like to speak right now, you can use the raise hand feature in the bottom of your screen. Or if you're on a telephone, you'll dial *9.
Okay. I don't see any hands raised, so I'll just turn it back over to our city manager, Ms. Sanchez, and our city attorney for any further comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I know from both speakers, a lot of what they said is statements. And then I know with Ms. Brown, a lot of it was her opinion, which is, you know, the point to have the public time for public comment. I do want to share to make sure everyone is aware, though, that the agendas for the retreats that do list out the topics that will be discussed at retreats are posted. And those are the topics that council discusses at retreats. It probably doesn't meet the desire that Ms. Brown would have as far as being through Zoom, as she indicated from a work session perspective, and some of those other items that she raised. But I do want to make it clear that the agendas are posted in regards to what topics are there. You know, I think a lot of times, and it's interesting to me because I know from a best practice perspective for a lot of employers, they look at making sure they're doing regular increases that are appropriate from an employee pay perspective within what they can do. And so as we discussed is when you look at what compensation is, we reward pay for performance. So for those employees who are performing at a higher level, they will see a higher increase than those employees who are not. And that's something that's grounded in a lot of good research. And so it's something the city has done every year that it can from a budget perspective. There have been some years we have not been able to do the performance pay. So that is consistent with what our past practices have been and consistent with best practices from an organization behavior perspective as well. The compensation as far as COLA is, the compensation policy states it's based on the last 5-year average of, the CIP, or not CIP, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. And so what that means from a business perspective is as in costs are increasing out in society, you want your employees to not lose ground. And so, taking the last 5 years makes it a little bit more level, so you don't see as many as the ebbs and flows you might see from one year to the next. And so based on that policy, that is a 4% increase from a cost of living adjustment. And so that is consistent with what council's past practices have been, which is to do a pay for performance and to try to do a COLA. What we also discussed from an additional increase is concern of when the market survey was completed, how it was structured, and then everything that changed once it was implemented in the job market as well. And taking a look at that we could be looking at almost a 15% gap with where our pay plan should be, which means the next time we do one, which is what best practices really dictate, is you want to align where half the market is above and half the market's below, and you don't know what the market is unless you do a market survey. So when we go to do a market survey in 3 to 5 years, we would be that much further behind is what would happen. And so it's a matter of trying to assess and make sure from a retention, from an attraction perspective, and knowing where we are kind of right now in the market, trying to make some corrections if we can. And so I think it's very important to make sure that none of this is making the city something where we're going to be paying more than 50% of what the market is. And when we defined the market, we looked at communities that are our size, that provide similar services. We didn't go out and find communities that have much different funding sources and revenue streams and those types of things. It was a very reasonable market. So our employees can be assured that they're going to be as close to that halfway point as possible. And so from a citizen perspective, they can be assured that we're not paying more than that halfway point. And from a citizen perspective, they can be assured that we're not wasting money from doing searches and having vacancies and not being able to provide services because we're not able to attract and retain employees, because there's definite costs when you take a look at that from a business perspective. And so I think those are very, very important. Obviously, we got a lot of different feedback on the 4-day work week. We always want to make sure people do understand that the employees who are doing that are still working 40 hours. They did not see a reduction in the number of hours that they were working. And so they're still putting in 40 hours. It's just one less day type of situation in order to allow them to see some savings in other areas. For some of them, it's to align with the school district for those who may have kids. For some who have young ones that are in childcare, it's a significant savings from that perspective. For some who don't live in Alamosa and are driving in, it's an opportunity for that. And, there could be other reasons that other employees are enjoying that. But again, they are still working the 40 hours and there has been no change as it relates to the output from that perspective. And so beyond that, everyone's going to have their opinions, and it's just, that is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. Appreciate it. Okay, that brings us to the next item on the agenda, ceremonial items. We're going to have a proclamation read by Councilor Daniel, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Originally, I said that since I believe Kate Jack, she showed up earlier in the day. She unfortunately with SLV Behavioral Health, she wasn't able to be here tonight. So we originally said we weren't going to take a picture, but this is an important proclamation. So if after Councilor Daniel reads it, if we can just go down as a group and take a picture with Councilor Daniel holding it up, because it may be on social media and let them know. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. And I do know that you met with the behavioral health group earlier, and so I just really appreciate us reading this out loud in the public forum as well. This proclamation proudly designates the month of September as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in the city of Alamosa, nestled in the heart of the San Luis Valley, Colorado. Whereas the communities of the San Luis Valley understand the profound significance of raising awareness about suicide prevention and its vital role in promoting the overall well-being of our distinctive region. And whereas the ripple effects of mental health challenges resonate deeply within our tightly knit families and neighborhoods, impacting lives from Alamosa to Crestone and from Saguache to Monte Vista. And whereas the San Luis Valley Behavioral Health Group, in partnership with dedicated municipal authorities, stands unwavering in its commitment to provide essential resources and unwavering support to aid individuals as they bravely confront mental health related struggles. And whereas we acknowledge and honor the exceptional individuals within our valley who have triumphed over mental health challenges, weaving their narratives into the rich tapestry of our community. And whereas the San Luis Valley, renowned for its breathtaking landscapes and resilient communities, embraces the responsibility of addressing the pervasive impact of mental health issues that touch the lives of adults and the next generation each year. And whereas we recognize that only a fraction of those grappling with severe mental health challenges seek the necessary care and assistance, and thus we endeavor to bridge this gap by fostering a culture of empathy and support. And whereas we acknowledge that the shadows of stigma and apprehension often cast shadows upon those who courageously seek the help they deserve, and we are determined to dissolve this darkness with understanding and acceptance. And whereas our local communities have borne witness to the transformative power of personal interactions with individuals who have emerged triumphant from the struggle against mental health challenges, thereby playing a pivotal role in dismantling misconceptions and biases. And whereas we comprehend the nurturing, robust mental and emotional well-being is not only essential for our families and neighborhoods, but also crucial for the flourishing of our esteemed educational institutions and thriving businesses. And whereas the San Luis Valley, in collaboration with our devoted partner municipality, is steadfast in amplifying public awareness about mental health issues and embarking on a collective voyage to reshape attitudes and behaviors, and tirelessly advocating for accessible, effective services for every individual journeying along the path of recovery. We, the City Council of Alamosa of San Luis Valley, Colorado, do hereby proclaim and declare September 2023 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. We proclaim every resident, government entity, public and private establishment, business and school within the vast embrace of the San Luis Valley to unite in reaffirming our unwavering commitment to enhance awareness and comprehension of mental health challenges, to erode the bedrock of stigma and bias, and to vigorously champion fitting and easily accessible services for all those navigating the intricate journey to recovery. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Daniel. Ms. Sanchez, do you mind if we go down and take a group picture? Okay. You want to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That brings us to the next item on the ceremonial items, introduction of our new outdoor recreation supervisor. Oh, there you go. All right.
Hi,
Andy.
Council. Hi, Mayor. I'm pleased to introduce to you Sean Sluyter, our new outdoor recreation supervisor and grants coordinator. Where do I begin? Sean's been with us about 6 weeks. He comes all the way from Indiana. And I'm smiling. I still kind of can't believe that we pulled him here to Alamosa. I'm really excited. It's early, but seems to be a good team member, and I'll let him say a few words. He has a background in outdoor recreation. He's lived from Florida to Indiana to now Colorado. So I'm excited to learn more about that too, but so far so good. Come on up, Sean.
Hi, guys. It's great to meet you. Thank you for the opportunity to move here to Colorado and work for the City of Alamosa Parks and Recreation Department. I'm looking forward to the challenges of jobs and things to learn new and all the things that come with that. So thank you guys very much.
All right, Counselor Hensley?
So welcome. It's great to have you here. What would you say when you first got here or got to know, what was something you were kind of impressed that we might have available that you didn't think we would? And what's something you see as something you'd like to see added or changed as you move forward?
Yeah, so it was great to see the parks infrastructure here. You guys have an amazing recreation facility and an amazing hockey rink and skate rink. Those are things that I came from a population of 100,000 people that we didn't have. And that they've talked about for the past 20 years and haven't even taken steps to. So that was quite amazing to see.
Very good. Any other comments or questions?
Hang on, what do we need to work on? You're not getting.
I think it's, a continuing develop of the outdoor recreation. It started, a couple years ago and John did an amazing job. And I think it's just continuing from there and, setting up a 5-year goal and a 10-year goal and just keep moving forward.
Counselor Daniel?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, welcome. And having grown up in Ohio, I can tell you, I think you'll like the sunnier winters here better than your last winter in Indiana, even though it is a lot colder. So excited to have you here, Sean. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any other lights, so I'll just wrap it up, Sean. Welcome to our team, and you made us feel good talking about 100,000 people in the population, and they didn't even have the facilities like we have. Oh, that's awesome. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, that brings us down to consent calendar A. Counselor Fijo.
Mayor, I move we approve consent calendar A.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll go ahead and start voting.
The
Ms.
motion
Martinez?
carried unanimously.
Okay. That brings us to regular business. Under development services, quarterly update on the housing and downtown. Okay, Ms. James.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council.
Good evening.
I will wait a quick minute while they pull up the presentation.
And Rachel, you're kind of quiet, and I don't know if it's quiet for those on Zoom as well. So if you might want to lean a little closer in.
Nobody's ever called me quiet before. Okay. So this is our downtown and housing quarterly update. I think we actually get 5 of these this year, though. I don't know how you ended up with a bonus one, but you're welcome. So projects, we are off and running with the Hunt Avenue Cultural Trail. So we put out a national request for qualifications, which is the new process we've never done before, which is where we couldn't post any prices or accept any prices. We just had to choose a respondent based on the qualifications of the firm and the quality of their proposal, which was kind of a fun process. It was daunting at first, but we did get 3 proposals. 2 were really excellent. So we have a great first and second choice. Third was a little bit out in left field, but still good to review. We did reach out and start the negotiation process with the lead applicant. They did come in a little bit high, probably higher than we're interested in, but we're seeing if we can get them down. And if not, then again, second option is really great. And then I don't know if you've noticed, but we have 2 beautiful parking lots in the downtown area that are done thanks to Public Works. They have trees as of this week, thanks to our Parks and Recreation Department. So they are beautiful and they seem to be well utilized. We applied for $360,000 in the Rural and Tribal Assistance Pilot Grant. So this is to do the engineering for the next phase of Main Street. So the next phase of Main Street is probably a $6 million project in terms of construction, but there's really no way to know that until we have the engineering done. So this is the 4 blocks of Main Street. This is sort of the permanent fix where we widen the sidewalks. This is a large, robust project. It would obviously disrupt businesses for a number of months. It'd have to be coordinated with CDOT. And we believe that
if we are awarded these funds, then there'll be a pretty significant public outreach process. I think we have a vision of the widened sidewalks, but really making sure that the final product we get downtown is what we want. I don't imagine that downtown will ever go back to 3 lanes, but we do want to have conversations about bike lanes and amenities and what our public wants to see on Main Street. So it was a first come, first serve basis grant, which is a little weird, and a federal one, but we got it in 4 minutes. So good for us. Outreach and relationships. After many, many months of torturing Valleywide, we did finally come to a consensus where they got a parking variance. Some of the things they wanted to do in that building were not feasible. I do think we have reached a really excellent balance of the services they need to provide in that building while still respecting the character of the downtown. So they've been great partners. They were able to close on the courthouse last month. And they've been great. You know, their maintenance team was good to work with during the development process. They got us all the data we needed to do all the parking calculations. So they went through planning commission with flying colors. And they've also been doing wonderful code enforcement. You know, every time our officers reach out to them, they get it cleaned up immediately. So they're going to be great neighbors in the downtown. And then we also sent Beata to the beautiful Trinidad, which she'd never been to before. And she was able to learn all about tax increment financing. So we know the basics. We're going to go to part 2, figure out more, eventually bring it to you guys. But it's about how to get our downtown to be self-funding so that it's not always subsidized by the city and grants. Housing. So we were able to look at the first sets of conceptual plans with Collab Architecture and the Housing Coalition. Had some interesting thoughts about parking. I think they really concentrated on housing and livability of the site, but you know, good old development services will always bring you back to earth and talk about boring things like infrastructure. So good conversations with them. And I do think they've settled on a final plan and they're finished with the design process. So we're just helping them close out the grant that actually funded the design work with Collab Architecture. And then we finally were able to get Iron Horses their final certificates of occupancy. So they've been under temporary certificates of occupancy this whole time because there were a handful of public improvements they hadn't finished. So they were interesting to work with, but we did manage to get all the improvements done that public works needed to be done. So they fixed all the things that needed fixed and we did it. So cross that finish line. Funding, it was a big quarter for funding. So we were awarded the 4.2 million for the infrastructure for phases 1 and 2 of Tierra Azul. It's 137 housing units off of Craft. We applied for a 1.916 more. The reason being that we originally applied for over 6 million with the TAG program and they weren't able to fund us at the full amount. And so in conversations with DOLA, they really encouraged us to go after More Housing Now, which is one of their energy impact and mineral fund programs, but it's a new iteration of it. And kind of unofficially just said, you know, really aggressively look at applying for the funds that you weren't given in TAG. So I think it was a strong application and we are scheduled to go before the board in October for a presentation, the city manager and I. And then we submitted just a letter of interest for $4 million, which was the maximum funding amount. And that's for infrastructure for the Boyd project, for the construction itself. Finally, just a fair amount of outreach. Attended the Southern Colorado stakeholder session with CHAFA and the Division of Housing and Housing Colorado. Really good outreach, good contact with a lot of the state leaders, but also really talking about what's going to be in front of the legislature in terms of housing and how Prop 123 is working throughout the state. So those are good conversations. I was only one of 2 people from the Valley, so I'm glad I attended. And then a handful of kind of developers are reaching out to us that are from other states, which is sort of new territory. I think some of our pro-housing mentality is sort of stretched beyond the borders of the San Luis Valley and Colorado. So both of these are Midwestern companies. North Point is probably not a company that can work with us. They do LIHTC projects and our LIHTC credits are going to be tied up with Tierra Azul for the foreseeable future. But I did pass their contact information to the city manager in La Jera. Yes. Oh, low income housing tax credits. So it's how you subsidize multifamily. So it's how Iron Horse got built. And Iron Horse was one of our first LIHTC projects in decades. And now, you know, as soon as that, which is why it was so important to wrap up the Iron Horse project, is so that CRHDC is competitive for applying for more tax credits so they can do multifamily. Sorry, I used to not be a housing, like Heather used to have to correct me about like the Housing Coalition versus the Housing Authority, like, cause I'd get those acronyms wrong, and now I'm just like, fine. Anyway, Whitestone and Company is also out of the Midwest, and this one's really promising because if we can find actually really tiny lots that are city-owned, or, you know, maybe if we talk to the county, but basically already have easy access to infrastructure, they bring in tiny homes, and then they're dedicated 100-year leases for Section 8 housing, which is sort of a gap that we haven't filled yet of how to really get housing for vouchers. Talked a little bit about maybe doing landlord education, because Section 8 vouchers sometimes go unused because people are unwilling to use them, but this would be dedicated housing for that program. So we're still in conversations with that developer. And then again, as I mentioned, talk to DOLA about how to get that last 1.9 million for Tierra Azul infrastructure. And I think that's the end.
Thank you, Ms. James. We'll go ahead and open it up for council. I had Council Grego, then Council Krebs. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I had a question on the widening of the sidewalks downtown.
Mhm.
Does that also mean the infrastructure below and all that?
Yeah.
The storm drainage, that's why it's that high?
Yeah. So I mean, all roads have a useful life, and realistically, Main Street was done when they did the one-way pairs. But a lot of our infrastructure, especially our stormwater infrastructure, is undersized. So it needs to be redone anyway. And it's it may be a little bit premature, but you know, it really depends on how long it takes us to secure construction money. So, but it'll be a win-win, pedestrian improvements and stormwater.
Thank you.
Okay, Council Krebs.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
My question is also about the sidewalks in downtown. And I was just looking at the photos that you had provided. The one on the left had the outside seating, but the new version on the right did not have the outside seating anymore. Is that still going to be incorporated into the sidewalks?
I think that with the widened sidewalks, it's really up to the downtown businesses, how they want to use that space in front of their businesses.
Well, and we would still have the seating that then we would put on the sidewalk. So,
Okay.
so yes, there's still gonna be the seating on the sidewalks.
The little cube things?
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
not,
okay.
yeah, those
Okay.
we're keeping
It just,
those.
it wasn't in the
Yes.
photo, so I was just making sure.
Well, and those are conceptual plans from the downtown plan itself.
Okay.
So, and I think, I don't remember exactly what
plan
the
was
intent was there.
Completed before we purchased the actual seating stuff.
Okay.
Type of thing. And I think they probably left some of the seating stuff off of it so you can see that it's a solid sidewalk.
Got
They
it.
probably wanted to make sure you could see that, but yeah, you would want to maintain seating and all of those types of amenities.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. I don't see any other lights on, so I'll just wrap things up. Not only are you getting really good at with your housing acronyms, your PowerPoint slides are awesome too. So keep up the good work. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That brings us to the next item, resolution number 15, 2023, approving AHA retention of the 2022 PILT.
You can't get rid of me yet.
Mhm.
So this is the Alamosa Housing Authority. And so a few years ago, we discussed allowing them to keep their payment in lieu of taxes. And last year we went ahead and set it by ordinance that we would allow them, as long as they have projects that fulfill the goals set out in our housing action plan, they can keep their payment in lieu of taxes. So this is basically Alamosa Housing Authority owns a lot of property in the city and they don't pay taxes on it. So Housing and Urban Developments cuts a check for a sort of a set amount of what would, it's not equivalent to what the taxes would be, but sends a check, and all these, well, there's a little bit of a history there, but for many years they have given it to the city. And they've asked in recent years if they could keep it to put it towards projects. So each year they have to bring a resolution, staff has to bring a resolution before council and have those expenses approved. And so this year, the amount is $50,385.55. It's to finish the furnace and water heater project they started last year. So $300,000 project. We approved a little bit over 40,000 last year. This is another 50,000, and they should be able to wrap up the project before the end of the year.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Daniel.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Rachel. And I think, we had lengthy discussion about this last year when we decided to move this forward, but I really do think that the Housing Authority, especially with some of the transitions on the board and things that have been moving, really do take this very seriously, understand what the projects need to be, and have really worked to make sure that the projects they're doing for improvements for their tenants are making a difference in their lives. And I think this funding goes toward that, and I'm really excited, that we can do this, and that I think the Housing Authority continues to make strides to make sure that they are having really positive housing experience for their tenants.
Okay, Council Vihil,
I'm ready to make a motion, Mayor.
okay, go
I
ahead.
move that we approve resolution number 15-2023.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? If not, please start voting. Ms. Martinez?
The motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. James. Okay, that brings us to the next item under fire. Second reading and public hearing for ordinance number 16-2023. Are you welcome up here? I'll finish it. An ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement with Adams State University to provide fire protection services.
Good evening, council and mayor.
Hi, Chief.
This is an update with no major changes. This MOU clarifies both parties' responsibilities and expectations in regard to emergency response, code enforcement, code compliance, and hazardous materials reporting. There will be no fiscal impact, and this MOU simply reaffirms the existing working relationship the city of Alamosa and Adams State University have with updated signatures. Quite
Okay.
simply.
Thank you. So what I'll do now is open up the public hearing for ordinance number 16-2023, an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement with Adams State University to provide fire protection services. If anyone in the audience would like to come up to the podium and make any comments, please do so at this time. I don't see anyone in the audience coming forward, so we'll open it up to the Zoom participants. Ms. Martinez, if you don't mind, could you share with them how to raise their hand so we can recognize those who would like to make any comments in this public hearing?
Yes, sir. If you're on the Zoom app and you want to speak for this ordinance, you'll use the raise hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're on a telephone, you'll dial *9. Mayor, I don't see anyone raising their hand.
Okay, I don't see any hands raised either, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I'll bring it back to council for comments or for motion. Counselor Vihil,
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 16-2023.
I'll second.
we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? If not, please start voting. We're missing one. There we go.
The motion carried unanimously.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you for your time.
All right, you're welcome. That brings us to the next item, committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Counselor Grego?
I'll go ahead and give a Alamosa senior citizens report. And we've had a lot of discussion on seniors today, so this might help out a lot. They had a
Gregor,
you're
talking
to your mic,
you can't hear me or what?
No, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, huh? It's a first. See, Rachel, you're not the only one. So early iron, they served breakfast there. They served over 300 people for the early iron. So a lot of people showed up for that. They're going to have a garage sale on the 22nd, 23rd. So here's your chance to help out the seniors and go buy some of the stuff that people have donated. So, but Jasmine attends these and she gets the minutes and the financial reports and stuff. So whoever wants to see those, you know, if you have questions on them, what funding they're making and what they're doing, we have those reports and stuff. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Grego. Counselor Danny?
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Earlier this week, I attended the Lead Policy Committee meeting. I am excited to say that the the program is still going well, and we talked about some barriers, and as we would expect, providing services to folks who are homeless is continuing to be an issue for the LEAD program, and making sure that there are resources. What I have appreciated, I think, about the things that come up in these policy committee meetings is how folks say, how can we work together? Like, it isn't just about the city's problem, this or this resource isn't giving us that. It's not about who's not doing what. It's really about what can we do to come together to remove the barriers so the folks in the program can get served. And so I really do appreciate that and the updates from CRP. And it was a very, I think it was a very fruitful meeting, like a very good discussion this time, not just updates, right? Like, so it felt like we were really working together to solve some things. And so I really appreciated that. That meeting was earlier this week.
Thank you, Counselor Daniel. Okay, I don't see any other mics lit up, so that brings us down to the next item on the agenda, staff announcements.
Okay, I guess it'll be me first. So I just wanted to give you guys some information. You guys asked for this a little while back on the university credits through CML. I just recently got that information. So for the public who's probably not aware of what this is, the university is the Colorado Municipal League's program to recognize municipal elected officials investing time and resources to participate in educational events in an effort to increase their knowledge of municipal government and enhance their capability to lead. So elected officials earn credits by participating in CML sponsored training events. And so for all of you, this program has 3 levels to it. It has the fundamental level, which is the first one. You need 30 credits to earn that one. The second level is leadership, that requires 60 credits. And then the third is the graduate level, which requires 100 credits. So for council, a few of you have already earned graduate level. So this year, graduate level was achieved by Mayor Coleman and Councilor Hensley. Mayor Coleman, you have 120 credits. Councilor Hensley, you have 139.5. Councilor Griego received this graduate level back in 2017, and he has 183.5 credits right now. Yeah.
Wow.
And then our next levels underneath are the leadership level, the 60 credits. Of course, Mayor Coleman earned that one. He got it in 2020. Councilor Hensley received that also in 2020. Councilor Daniel, you have 99 credits and you would receive this leadership level in next year if you went. So you would have got recognized there. And then Councilor Carson, you have 57 credits. You received the fundamental level award last year in 2022. Councilor Vigil, you haven't made the levels yet, but you're almost there. So you're at 28 credits. So if you go next year, you probably get the fundamental level. And then Councilor Krebs, you have 17 credits right now.
There has to be something I can do before the election in November.
I think they have like webinars.
I might
Yeah.
just start
You can learn that.
I might try like, it'd be kind of cool to hit it. Okay, so I'm gonna try really hard, team. I'm gonna try really hard.
Yeah,
there you go.
You could do it 4 more years, you could do whatever. Okay, all right, any other?
I just have one quick one. Through several different conversations, I was made aware of some pretty exciting news for our district attorney's office. And since we were at a really bad place not that long ago, I just want to share this. They have finally gone through the backlog. So for the first time, they no longer are carrying that backlog of when things were really bad. And additionally, they only have 1 vacancy and they have, I think, 10 to 15 applications for it. So we've gone from something where there was none of the cases were being handled. They were just piling up, vacancies, no one working there, to where we really have a high functioning office, and our communities in the valley are seeing justice for victims. And it's a very reasonable application of justice as well. And so I just think it's extremely exciting thinking about where we were compared to where we are right now. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. I'm very happy to hear the success that DA Kelly is having with her and her team. They're really making a huge impact. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so we're going to have to go into executive session. We only have, oh, there we go. Council comments. Goodness, man, my eyes are bad. I can't believe it. Didn't see it. Yeah, there you go. Okay, council comments. There you go, Counselor Ansley. Thank you.
So I was privileged to be with Chief Anderson at the farmer's market this last weekend. And it was really, I thought it went very well. We got a lot of people came by. A lot of compliments for a lot of things that we're doing, especially the police department. So I thought that was well deserved. And so I just think that it's been a great thing that we're doing at the farmer's market, and the weather was nice and I had great company.
Thank you, Counselor Hensley. Counselor Krebs and Counselor Daniel.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a great weekend. I didn't get to the farmer's market. I was at the Stephanie L. Minor Walk, and then I took that walk a little bit further and went downtown and walked around and looked at all the artwork. And it was just a wonderful weekend to show great collaboration between a couple of events. So yeah, I had a lot of fun and it was wonderful. Thanks.
Okay, Counselor Daniel, then Counselor Vio.
Great, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say thank you for allowing us to declare it in council meeting today about Suicide Prevention Month. I think it has touched all of us and every community member that we serve. And so I really appreciate the acknowledgement of putting it out there in the public space as well. I think it's really important that we all continue to work with our mental health partners and remind people that mental health is still a really important issue in our community. And I think we as council have done a lot to help reduce stigma and have these conversations publicly, and there's still so much more to do. So I just really wanted to say thank you for that. As part of that, I did want to let everyone know that a mental health first aid, which is a way to help people who may be experiencing a mental health crisis or worsening mental health symptoms, is coming up on November 10th, and it is open to the community. And then next spring, there will be one offered every month, at least through June. I take July off of mental health first aid and I take December off of mental health first aid. So those are the things, and we're getting some more folks trained. So I'm really excited about that. And so just really wanted to say how much, and then we'll work with the chief. We haven't scheduled the police officer one, but there will be one specific for police officers coming up soon as well. And so there are just really exciting opportunities for people who need to know or want to learn more about mental health conditions and concerns. And so I'm just really excited that we're offering those in our community, and hopefully we'll have more folks trained. And so I just wanted to say again, thank you for letting us talk about it. And I really appreciate that a lot. And I'm looking up university credits right now to see if I can get this done before November.
Awesome. Thank you. Counselor Vio, then Counselor Grego.
Thank you, Mayor. A question, then a couple comments. Heather, when is the work day for Habitat for Humanity?
It is coming up. Let me look really quickly at my calendar. I think it is next Saturday, the 30th. Yep, next Saturday, the 30th, and I have it down for 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
So I would just request as much as we can, City Council, if we can be there to help with the construction of someone's home. And then I wanted to give kudos to Andy and the rec department. My daughters have been playing rec soccer the last few Saturdays, and it's like packed. There are people everywhere there. But there's refs at every game, there's coaches, there's practice, it's a legit program. And I'll be coaching basketball here pretty soon. So I hope I don't get teed up and thrown out of the gym. And then another thing is this is, I used to walk my dogs back here on the straightaway behind the ponds. And then my dogs died. Well, then we got a new dog. And so then I've been taking him out for a walk, and I didn't know, I guess I hadn't seen it, but the pathway along the pond on the east side of it, it's really awesome. It's really cool back there. So, and then we can access the dog park back there. So I just think it's really cool and wanted you guys to know that. And I'm happy that we have in the budget a dog park for the north side of town back by the high school. So if we can move that up at any point over the next couple of years, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Vio. Councilor Grego.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
I wanted to thank Heather Sanchez for allowing me to give this year's award for the Art Fest. And Alberto and his wife got that award. But myself was there, the mayor, Bess was there. And just welcome these art people that come from all over and bring their stuff here. And the way this thing has developed, through the years, we're trying to figure out how many years, 7 years that this thing's been going on. And it's really, we talked a little bit about how it happened and how Heather and her staff just, we planted the seed and they have watered that, and it's something I hope that it carries on and on and on. It becomes a tradition like anything else. So, but I want to thank you for allowing me to do that. So appreciate it. Thank you.
I think it was
Thank you.
very appropriate since the seeds were planted because of a conversation between you and Herberto. So I think getting that award from you made it even more special for Herberto and Dana as well.
Okay, I don't see any other lights on, so I'll wrap things up. I just wanted to also thank everyone who participated and helped out with the arts festivities this past weekend, the reception. I wish you all could have seen it. Well, Councilor Krebs and Councilor Griego was able to see the beautiful work that Rachel, Jasmine, and also Heather did. They're really good at decorating. Y'all did a real good job. Rachel, I was really surprised. How you get all that stuff locally that quick, make it look so good? You did a great job. Also, want to thank, special thanks goes out to the Parks and Recreation Department, Streets Division as well, because they did a good job of making sure everything was installed. And then all the other people who participated that weekend, the Sluyter Circus and the artists. The cool thing about it is the artists, they just walk up to us, and these artists are from different parts of the United States, and they're really thankful and appreciative, and they speak so highly of this program. So what you all are doing is working and it's turning out good. So keep up that great work. Councilor Grego?
Did you want to make some comments about the youngest art person that was there?
Yes,
young
Ben.
man?
Ben. So Ben, I don't know Ben's last name, but Ben is the youngest artist. How old was he, Councilor Grego? He was like 7 or 8 years old or something like that. And it's just really refreshing to see how what we're investing into him, how it's gonna pour out a big reward down the road for him and his family, and also communities like ours. So.
And Mayor,
Ms. Sanchez.
if I could just brag a tiny bit for council as well, and Jasmine and our streets crews, it never fails. These artists that do installs at other locations are always so amazed at how professional and skilled our crews are at handling it. But just to get a feel for what the day can be like. We had one artist who surprised us and said, "Oh no, I want you to keep my piece on loan." And so we had to find a place. And then we had another artist show up with 2 pieces. And so we had to figure that one out. And then we had an artist show up with a 3,000-pound piece. And so we had to figure that one out. But I think most notably, we had an artist as they were driving the Caterpillar here get rear-ended between Monte Vista and Alamosa, and they lost a tire. The head of the Caterpillar went flying, just destruction on the highway. And they called, and I don't think Jasmine and Ray even hesitated. They went and found a tire. They went out there. They got them back up and going and they came and they installed it. And so, it's just everything that it takes to get this put together. And it's a lot of times thinking outside the box and doing things that aren't in a normal job description. And it's just pure quality is all I can say. So.
You're right with the per quality and also the activities like the wet paintbrush. Those activities brought people from the community to experience those things. So it was really great overall. So thank you all so very much. Okay, so now executive session, Counselor Vijo.
Mayor, I move that we move into executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6, 402, 4B, and 4E.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, please start voting. Ms. Martinez?
The motion carried unanimously.
Okay, we will enter into executive session in about 5 minutes after council takes a quick break. We'll meet in there at 8 o'clock, but no further business will be discussed after executive session.